All right, we're here with Sean Spade, a former graduate of the University of Georgia, as well as a sixth grade language arts teacher in Gwinnett County.
Yeah.
He has been to college, he has been to high school, he's been to middle school, and now he is an adult. And we're going to take a little look at some of the brands that he likes to identify himself with. First of all, we'll take a look up here at this Masters hat. You know, obviously the Masters logo is kind of a big deal. You actually went to the Masters last week. You know, what about that hat kind of signifies what you enjoy and what you kind of identify yourself with?
Well, bought this, not too terribly expensive there, one of the cheaper items, but, it's just one of those things. They see the yellow United States with the Masters, green Masters over top of it. It's almost like a status symbol, in my opinion. It's kind of like he's either been there or he knows somebody who's been there, and while we were there, we were by far some of the youngest folks there, and a lot of old money in Augusta, certainly. So that was a pretty cool find for me.
Okay. And as we look around here, I see you've got Nike shorts, Nike shoes. There's a Nike polo up here. You know, what does that Nike brand kind of entail? I don't see a lot of Adidas in here, but what does Nike really represent about you and your lifestyle?
Well, Nike, of course, Georgia has, Nike supplying all their gear and everything. So for me, growing up, South Florida, we were big fans of sports. Had the Gators down there, Seminoles, and Nike picked up all their contracts. So Nike, to me, they just make something that's not necessarily durable or good in quality, but it looks good. It's, I guess, user friendly. You can wear it basically wherever, and it just, they make a product that looks good, and for me, wearing that, it just says, I don't know, I guess I either know where to find it or, I go to stores where it's at, so I don't know.
Perfect. You talked about growing up in South Florida. Actually, I've known you for a while. You moved to the mountains around the sixth grade, or what
Yep.
time did you move to Towns
Sixth
County?
grade.
So sixth grade, obviously some of the scholarly things that I've looked at talked about some people identify themselves with brands to fit in. You know, before you moved to Hiawassee, what kind of brands did you really wear?
I was wearing Nautica, Tommy Hilfiger, Polo. So some of those were the bigger brands in South Florida at the time.
And when you moved up to the mountains, was there anything different? Were there any other kind of brands that kids were wearing that you really might have had to wear to fit in? Or
Yeah, I had no idea what Carhartt was at the time, but I had to get a Carhartt jacket because everyone had them. If you didn't have a Carhartt jacket, you weren't really with it or in the cool crowd, I suppose. So I definitely jumped on that, and then started incorporating some camouflage into my wardrobe. Had to have mossy oak. It couldn't just be any old camouflage. It had to be mossy oak. So that definitely was a big culture shock for me.
Okay, and I got two more for you here. Obviously, you're starting to see some of these bow ties over here. I'm not really sure what brand you prefer in the bow ties or who you shop with the most. Is that Express?
It's Express.
Now, obviously, Express is not a big thing for college kids or high school kids,
Right.
maybe somewhere, but at what point did you start really wearing Express? Whenever you became more of a professional, or?
Yeah, when I made the shift from student teacher to professional as a job teaching, had to do something to kind of set myself apart from the kids. I found myself my first year wearing a lot of the same clothes as the kids, so I wanted to do something that, didn't have the beard at the time, so I had to kind of differentiate myself from the students somehow, so I just dressed overly professional, I suppose, to look older.
Okay, and the last one, obviously, you are a sixth grade language arts teacher, and you've been a middle school teacher in the great county of Gwinnett for a while now. And I talked about fitting in, and obviously through some of that research, it said that adolescent girls are really the ones that have to, kind of, at that point is where they're really trying to develop that self-esteem and fit in with those other peer groups.
Right.
Now, obviously, you're a teacher. I don't know if the word expert would be the best in the academic field, but you definitely see more of it than I do. But do you see that with the middle school kids, both girls and boys?
Definitely. If my students aren't wearing Hollister or Abercrombie, or a lot of the boys are wearing Nike, different Nike stuff. One big thing with them right now is the Nike Elite socks, which is like a $14 pair of socks, and they'll double them up. They'll wear 2-3 pairs in a day. So I see that being one big thing with my students. And also some of them are getting more, I guess, older brothers and sisters in college, so they're starting to wear polo. They're starting to wear different kind of like preppy, fratty clothes, I suppose. A lot of kids changing their hairstyles up, which is interesting to me. But yeah, a lot of them wearing, going more with the more sophisticated, almost like high school look, I would say. I've seen their wardrobe just from beginning of 6th grade to the end kind of evolve and kind of, I guess, mature along with them.
And one last one, do you kind of see these kids kind of click up? I mean, are different groups kind of all wearing the same things?
Yeah, definitely. You don't see a lot of kids, wearing off-brand stuff, or, tequila is kind of interesting demographic because we do have such a diverse community. So you do have some kids wearing Carhartt, wearing camouflage at school, and you don't necessarily see them blending with your kids wearing Abercrombie or Hollister or rocking Nike or wearing the Elite socks or anything like that. So yeah, it's definitely very cliquish. They almost group themselves based on their wardrobe. So.
Okay, and outside of clothes, now you do use a MacBook now.
Yep.
I don't know what kind of computer you used before.
Just a Toshiba, yeah.
Toshiba. Now that you do have a Mac, obviously people see it as a status symbol. Earlier in my kind of self-interview, I said that when you look up into the crowd into a college setting, you're going to see a lot of MacBooks.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the in thing to do. And one thing that really keeps brand loyalty up, as I saw in some of the academic journals, was, obviously when it works for you, if it's a good machine.
Right.
Now, has the Apple been a good machine for you? Is that a reason that you would keep using it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely user-friendly, and it's, hands down the best computer I've ever used. But I think you're right. A lot of it is status. You see the glowing Apple on the back, and, it just seeing it, like you said, up in classrooms and up in different lecture halls. It's pretty intimidating. You see kids doing different things on it, sliding 3 fingers or sliding 2 and moving windows, so you want to be able to do that. So yeah, it was I made the switch, 1 because I saw a lot of them, and 2 because I heard how great they were. So.
Right. All right, well, there you have it with Sean Spade. I'm Ethan Burch, and that has been our evening talk about brand identity. Thank you, Sean.
You got it.